Hello and namaste, everyone. Welcome back to Everything and Everything. This is your host, AD here, and today we have another special guest, Miss Deepika here.
Namaste. Thank you for having me.
So, today we're here to talk about something that has been actually increasing in Nepal. That is regarding school life and what goes on in school life, especially for female, and how bullying is now a thing for students in Nepal, which was also a thing for us. But I think we did not really get a chance to address these things. To start off with, I would like to ask you, how has your school life been in Nepal?
I was born and raised in Dhangadi, which is in far western region of Nepal. So I did my schooling from Dhangadi, also from a good private school, I would say. I was a very studious kid, so my childhood always revolved around the books most of the times. But also I was interested in extracurricular activities. So now and then I participated whenever possible, but you know how it is for a studious kid that there is this norm that they believe if you pay more attention to extra activities, then your study gets hampered, all of this. There was that kind of things for me also. Talking about bullying, I was a very skinny child. So people always, commented on my weight, on how I looked, how dresses don't look good on me.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can say I was bullied for my physical appearance. I know there were other people, like especially with other friends of mine who had weight issues, who were on the
Yeah.
plus side. They had to struggle a lot with those kind of body shaming comments.
Yeah, I think I also would agree that someone who is a bit overweight, or not just overweight, someone who's a bit healthy actually,
Yeah.
they go through these kind of stuff more or equally as someone who's skinny. I was also a very skinny person,
Okay.
and I also got very bullied for being skinny, and I was very self-aware and self-conscious regarding my body when I was a child. The same thing again is going on with my sister, where apparently she was very much bullied in school, and to the point that she had to change another school. So it was really surprising to me, and I love how she dealt with it. But I was never taught how to deal with it, and I think you also.
Yeah, same, because I couldn't understand what their problem was, because I was eating healthy and everything was fine. It was just like some people are born with that kind of body shape, and some are born with a bit heavier shape, so it's fine. But at that time I didn't have that much of, what you say, understanding about these things. Only later in my life that I understood, oh, they shamed me for my body, if it was today, maybe I would give it back to them. But at that time nobody made me aware, so it was just like, you just ignore it and move on. So yeah,
I think when we're a child, we're very naive.
yes.
We're very naive. We make a lot of mistakes, and I sometimes feel like we don't have proper guidance or a safe space where we can go and talk our feelings.
Yeah.
I know that some of my friends had parents who were very understanding and encouraging, and they were very comfortable with sharing things with their parents. But in most cases,
Yeah, even in my case, I mean, there was no such environment where I could express, oh, this is happening to me, please do something about it. I knew that, like people wouldn't do anything, or they never asked me, are you okay, is anything bothering you at school? There was no such kind of environment even at our homes. So I think, which is very necessary nowadays. Otherwise children or school going kids, they don't open up, they will just keep it within themselves, and later on it becomes a mental problem for them, which is very sad actually.
Yeah, that's very true. I completely agree with whatever you said. I think because personally also I feel the same way. I if my mom, she now wants me to share things with her. But how? Like how would I share things with you? Like I'm very close person. Like, I'm a closed body, to be honest. So I don't really share my things with anybody at all. And I like that as well now, because that's how I grew up.
Yes.
And I was not really taught to share, express yourself. So that has been always been hard for me. And now you can't really expect me to share everything with you when that's not been done since when I was a child.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also, yes, my parents did tell me, yeah, come tell us if something is wrong. They do say that. But it's not about you saying, come tell us when something is wrong.
Yeah, also there is a fear in children, I think, like they are gonna use those things against them later on. They don't want to confide in their parents,
Yes,
at least.
yes, it's very
So,
true.
yeah.
It's very true.
So I think here the important thing is parents should also do some put some effort in winning the trust of their children.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
which is missing in most of the cases. It's like a hierarchy thing, right?
Yes.
Like you have to tell me, okay, I'm your senior.
Yeah.
That kind, not in a friendly manner, I
Yes.
guess.
Yes,
So,
it's very true. It's very true. So I always lacked a figure where I could go and share things with. I think you did too.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends had the same issue, except maybe one.
Yeah, very few.
Very
right?
few, very few. When you're school, you also are very much attracted to another person or another individual, and that's very natural.
Yeah.
So we are also not taught about these. What's your story behind it? And when you found out that maybe, I had something towards this person, how did you deal with it?
I agree with you. As we are teenagers, we go through a lot of hormonal change. Both girls and boys have this kind of natural attraction or physical attraction towards opposite sex or even same sex.
Yeah.
So, for me personally, I don't remember it very clearly because there is a reason for this. Because I was always told that focus on your studies, focus on your studies. If you do something else besides studies, you are gonna fail or you are not gonna be good enough for the society and all of this. So even I don't remember. To be honest, because of that kind of fear which was instilled in me, I never paid attention to other feelings, even if I had for somebody. So that's why I don't remember today. It was only in the later stages of my life when I crossed the minor age that I started, processing these things very clearly. But yes, there is attraction. At that point of time, and I was never taught how to deal with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think we need to address that thing as well.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be an environment where we could express ourselves to somebody. It can be at home or with your friends or even with your teachers. If you have something, okay, I have this feeling, what to do about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there are sometimes chances like okay, if someone knows like you like him or her, that person, if he is older than you, they can exploit you.
Yes.
So it's very important to address these things timely and in the right way.
That's very true. Very true. So for me also, yes, natural attraction is very common, and even parents know that. They also had natural attraction. They also went through those stuff, and that's how people grow up.
Exactly.
It's very common. And I am so thankful that I have a sister now, and I am her safe space, because I am also strict with her. I have to be I have to play a sister's role time and again. But at the same time, I think I have maintained a relation with her where she can come and share things with me, and I won't judge her for that. I basically listen to what she's saying, and I analyze those things, and then I guide her in the right direction. To me, I tell her all the time, focus on your studies, because that is something that you need to know. It's not just the education, it's the knowledge that you have that's going to make you who you are in the future. It's very important. Yes, very important to know about lots of things, to be aware of yourself, to find yourself. You have to come, I think I suggest that, like, to find yourself truly who you are, you have to travel abroad. That is something that I would say, but maybe a lot of other people don't believe that. Really depends from person to person. It's really subjective, but that's what I would say. And So my sister, I think I have been a safe space for her. I think I would love to be a guidance because
Mm-hmm.
I would not want whatever I went through in my life, same thing that would repeat for my
Yeah.
sister, you know?
Yes.
And when you are a child, you don't know how to deal with these things.
Mm-hmm.
You really have no idea. And it is very important when you are in your teenage years,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, to address these things.
Yeah.
You can also write about them, keep it safely, keep it safely.
Also, I think also know how to handle, for example,
Yeah.
sometimes when you express it and if there is a rejection, it affects you in a
Yes.
very negative way. It can
Yes.
take you in those dark places. So you need to know, like, even if it's positive or negative, the outcome of it, you need to be prepared, or at least
Yeah.
have somebody to lean on,
Yes.
when
Yes.
you are rejected or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it's
So
very true because I have had a lot of people who say like, "Oh, I fell in love and then, this girl
yeah,
broke my heart and stuff like
exactly.
that," and then they go do
Yeah,
something
it
stupid.
messes everything, their studies and their personal
Yeah.
lives. So some people can never come out of it.
Yes.
So we need to create such environment at home, or at least somebody, it can be your best friend
Yeah.
or somebody to
Yeah.
confide.
Yes, it's very
So yeah.
true because like we lack guidance during that age, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that is the perfect age where guidance is needed.
Yeah.
And if there's someone to guide you through, um, this is okay for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to express yourself. It is very natural. Take it all in.
Yeah.
This is part of your life. And I think, as you said, handling rejections is something that everyone has to
Yeah.
learn. And especially when you are a teenage, later on in life, you will learn.
Yeah.
Later on in life, you will learn like so many
Life
rejections
will
from so
teach you.
many things. Yes, life will
Life
teach
will
you.
teach you.
But in the initial years, I think it's very important to guide a child
Yes.
because I have seen a lot of kids who were very bright
Mm-hmm.
now just spoil their life
Yeah.
because of one small incident.
Exactly. Their self confidence is like
Yes.
gets so down.
Yeah. And I think
So
bullying also really affects your self
yeah, same
confidence.
thing.
It,
Yeah.
it really does. So if, even for me, I think even for you,
Mm-hmm.
when we are bullied in school, it really affects your, self
Mm-hmm.
confidence, not just in school, when we go to colleges.
Yeah. So it is also very important for senior people, like it may be teachers and parents around us, to notice, what's going on with your child. Like if he or she starts behaving in a different way, like why are they behaving, differently
Mm-hmm.
suddenly? So you can track actually,
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
can find out, okay, something has happened or
Mm-hmm.
not. I think many of us ignore these kind of signs, and then later on it becomes a big problem.
And not just in schools, like because I studied in India, we also
Mm-hmm.
had a ragging thing
Yeah,
going on.
which is so bad.
Yes, and in India when we were in school, we had like a huge form that we had to sign
Mm-hmm.
because we should not rag and stuff like that. That is there. They are aware about the situation and they do try to take steps against it. So
Yeah.
it is there. But at the same time, it's so stupid and silly. The first time we were 9 girls studying in India and we used to live in the hostel, and so we went out, and
Mm-hmm.
we were just like, let's roam around and see the university, how it is and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we all went together, and apparently we did not say namaste to one of the seniors
Oh
whom
my
we do not
god.
know. We
Oh
do not know
god.
till now who that
Yeah.
person was,
Yeah.
and we do not
Totally.
care, and he was like, this person said like, the juniors, they did not say namaste when they saw us, and like,
Uh-huh.
I don't think we even recognize you.
Exactly.
I don't think we even saw you.
Yeah.
And why would I say namaste if I do not know you?
Yeah.
And we had like a huge issue, and there was this one friend who came and then told us like, you guys didn't say namaste to this brother, and I was like, who is that brother? Bring him to me, I'll say namaste. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That is also a level of bullying.
It is so sad that these things are glorified in the name of having fun and all these things, because I haven't faced ragging myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I know of people, who who have been ragged so badly that they have left the schools, or we have seen even in movies,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people committing suicide or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
so extreme. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
There should be a culture like where you introduce yourself, not something like ragging,
Yeah.
where you put people down for not,
Doing
doing
something.
namaste or
Namaste. Yeah.
something.
And the
So
thing was
it's so
like this
sad.
person, I hate when people
Hmm.
just ask for respect.
Exactly.
Namaste is a sign of respect. It's a
It
sign
should be
of greeting.
earned, right?
Yes. So if I know you, if I like you as a person,
Yeah.
I would definitely
Exactly.
smile and say namaste or
Yeah.
hello,
Hi, yeah.
It's very common. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very basic thing.
Yeah.
But do not really ask me to do namaste
Mhm.
because I have to. I'm not gonna do that at all.
Yeah.
And the next time, like I think I met those gangs and I just walked past them. I'm like, I don't care.
Mhm. So, and what was their reaction after
They were very
that?
shocked. They again told the same guy, and this guy was like a mediator, okay?
Okay.
And then he was not able to tell their names.
Okay.
He was like very against it
Mhm.
because he was, I think, afraid of me
Okay.
in general. I would probably
Which is
scold
nice,
them,
which
which
is
is nice, which
nice.
is nice because it's so silly. Why would I? I don't
Yeah.
even know them. Why would I say
Exactly.
namaste just because
Yeah.
you are Nepalese? Does not mean I would go
Mhm.
and say namaste
Mhm.
all the time and I would pretend that I know you. No,
Yeah.
it's something. Respect is something that is earned.
Mhm.
It's not given. So
Yeah.
don't expect that from me or from anybody else.
Anybody else.
Yeah. And they used to say like, oh, I'm not ragging and stuff like that. But I know of a lot of stories where they have made, you know, juniors dance in front of
Yeah.
them,
Do silly things.
do silly things.
Yeah. All
So
the time.
I do know about this, and I think even they know what they have
Yeah,
to
I
go
think
through.
we should condemn these things and not glorify. That is
Yeah.
what I would like to say.
Yeah. It's very true. I think the senior junior culture that exists in our society is, if you look at one way, yeah, you have to respect your seniors. You also have to respect your juniors.
Mhm.
You have to love your seniors. You
Exactly.
also have to love your juniors.
Yeah.
It's equal.
Yeah.
Both ways equal. So you should not like highlight, oh, senior. No. It's very wrong because here you see in Europe, everybody is a colleague. You go by first name basis.
Mhm.
It's
And nobody cares.
nobody cares.
Yeah.
And it's such a nice work environment. It
Mhm.
really is. Even when I talk with professor and stuff, she's like, just go by first name basis,
Mhm.
which is very nice.
Yeah. I think it's up to one person, like how you want to address other person. But just because someone didn't address you the way you want, you shouldn't,
Yeah,
feel
don't demand.
insecure or you
Yes.
should feel bad. It's okay,
It's
learn to
okay.
accept it. I think it's fine.
Yeah, and if you don't, like, suppose if I want somebody to address me with something, then just tell them once and they would do it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to really have a mediator
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
stupid things,
Yeah.
So I think that's how it was for my
Yeah.
experience in India. A lot of things, other things also happened, but basically the ragging culture is there, and that also exists not just in India, it also exists in Nepal.
Yeah.
We also have it in colleges in Nepal, universities in Nepal, and bullying is, I think, very prominent right now in Nepalese school, apparently. So it's something that is of concern. If you are bullied, you have to address, you have to tell somebody that this person is bullying you. And the teachers in Nepal should also address this issue correctly.
Yeah.
Do not take it lightly. Do not say that, oh, it's just a natural thing that people have to go through. No, it's not natural. There's nothing natural about bullying somebody. And not just here, even in Germany, I know some students from high school or school, and they have told me that, because there were so people commenting on her body a lot of the time, they feel so insecure now about their body. And I was so saddened when I hear this because, you're beautiful the way you are.
Yeah, I think children should be the last ones to feel bad about their body because they are growing up, they don't, it's a growing body and everything, and you go through so many hormonal changes, and some people gain weight, some lose weight, it's fine. So I think there needs to be proper education around that as well. Some people don't go and complain because they fear, what if action is taken against us. So I think somewhere down the, I don't know how to make it, but somewhere the administration or families, parents, they need to instill this awareness in their children
Yeah.
and create a
Yeah.
safe environment, just to be the way they are.
Yes.
Children are just like, I feel like, flower,
Yeah.
they're just growing. If you put the right amount of water and right amount of soil and everything, they just flourish.
Yeah.
So that should be the case. At least that is
Yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah.
think.
It's true.
So,
They are just
but
developing, so I think
yeah,
it will be very sad, because
yeah,
there will be, trust me, there will be tons of people in the modern society who would be telling you a lot about how you need to look. There is huge beauty standards, that's which
yeah.
is very unnecessary and unrealistic beauty standards that has been
Mm-hmm.
set. So anyway, when you grow up, you are going to feel insecure.
Yeah, also you compare yourself with other people who you think are the ideal ones, so that is another thing. But what I would like to say to the school going children is like, there is a time for everything, you will be there, but maybe at a different point of time, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah,
So
but I feel like, school is a place where you really enjoy your life, you
exactly,
chill,
it should be more
you're
fun.
more happy, and you
Yeah,
worry about just, your homeworks,
yeah,
and you
yeah, yeah,
you really do whatever you want to do, and you have fun.
yeah,
That is that should be one of the good years of your life,
yeah, yeah,
because
I
these things
agree.
come anyway in your life. And if when I heard
Mm-hmm.
that, bullying is, even I was bullied,
Mm-hmm.
but how people are bullying nowadays is completely different than how people were bullying back
Mm-hmm.
then.
Okay.
So now when I hear that people are being bullied, not just even my cousins,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like, what the hell? What is going
Mhm.
on? How is
Mhm.
this a thing here in Nepal? Where did it come from? Yes,
Mhm.
it did exist way before. It was there
Mhm.
also in our
Mhm.
time. But why is it so prominent now?
Mm.
Because I would think that it would be better,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but not, seems like it's getting worse.
Okay.
So to all the children out there and to all the parents, try to
Mhm.
really be a friend, okay, of
Mhm.
all your children, and try to know if they are bullying, or if they are a bully, or they are getting bullied. It's very
Yeah.
important that you address both of them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
teach children, because they grow up into being that person. And not just that, like, I think in school, forget about bullying and natural attraction, which is
Mhm.
not addressed at all.
Yeah.
Even sex education is not addressed.
Yeah, that is a big, big thing that needs to be addressed, I guess. Even in my school, like I remember, the sex education part comes so late in our lives, maybe from eighth or ninth standard, when most of the girls already start their menstrual cycle, right? So also like the chapters, they are just skimmed
Yeah, there's
through.
skim through. Yeah.
You are not taught how it happens, why it is happening, how to deal with it. Both men and women, I mean boys and girls, need to know, the process of menstruation, the process of reproduction. They are not something like taboo or something which needs to be, talked in sacred or
Yeah.
yeah. So I think in school it is very important to teach these things from very early stage, maybe 4 or 5 class, or even earlier if possible. And it is not a taboo that you cannot discuss or something. They should be discussed, and they should be discussed both at home also. I remember when I got before I got my periods, I was so curious to know what it is, why are people at that time. Nowadays people are a little bit aware,
Mhm.
and they are okay saying, oh, I have my periods, I have my cramps. But at that time people used to hide, or they wouldn't touch certain things. These kind of things were prevalent. And I was like, okay, why is this? When I'm going to get this, nobody told me you will get this at a certain age, and when you get this you'll experience these things in your body. We go through certain changes, so no one told me or prepared me for those things. And one certain day when you get it and you feel like crying, as if something bad has happened to you, which is actually not bad, which is a natural thing. So I think somewhere we need to make this kind of what you say,
Changes.
changes in the way how it is seen or perceived by families, society, and even in schools, right?
Yeah. I think we also have a culture where a perfect example would be like when you go and buy a pad, it's always wrapped up.
Yeah.
It has a wrapping already.
It already has it, and it's so good. It's not like it looks gross or anything, right? Yeah.
I don't understand
I
that.
never take that wrapping. I'm like, okay, no, I don't need it. You know?
It's just why? So unnecessary. And I have made sure
Yeah.
that my brother
Yeah.
goes out and gets my pad.
Yeah. It should be normalized.
This should be normalized.
Yes.
And I make sure, and he's like, oh, I'm not gonna go. I'm like, what? You're gonna go right now, you know?
Yeah.
It's very natural, very common.
Yes.
Sex education. Where do I even start?
Yeah.
I think, as you said, it should come at an early age.
Another thing is like we also need to teach girls before they get their periods to use sanitary pads or tampons, whatever is available. Because a lot of them don't know how to use it, and there is kind of spilling and all of this that happens, and they go through all that kind of uncomfortable situation. So I think it needs to be normalized. Even if there is something, you get your period suddenly, other people around you should help you. You should not be really scared to.
But we were scared,
around. Yeah, we were so scared, like with our skirts and all of that. And there used to be no pads in our school. What is it?
I remember like checking all the time, telling people to check,
Yeah, so yeah, there are different, like we have different kind of menstrual flow. Some have heavy flow. So sometimes no matter how prepared you are, you need pads around you. So I think it is very important for schools to have, like, what is it called? Vending machine. Yeah, the vending machine or tampons, whatever.
Yeah.
And also not just that, you need to know how to use it. Basically I learned like by watching in TV, in ads there used to be like this, something used to drop, and like how they used to sew it. Like I was like very curious, so that's how I learned. Oh, okay, I was curious to use those pads that were sewn in advertisements. So basically you need to teach girls at home, especially mothers or even fathers, whoever.
Yeah, you should.
So, and in the schools also, we can have practical classes. Even boys should, sit in those classes.
They should.
Yeah, because they will also have partners tomorrow. So, or even your sisters, anybody, your friend, you need to be considerate towards them also.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So basically, the sex education in Nepal, I think we also have talked about this in the menstruation podcast that we're gonna be showing or putting. We also have talked about this then, and basically the sex education is, for me, when I studied, was horrible. As you said, skimmed through it.
Yeah.
And they're also, because this is taught like later in the stage.
I'll just stop you. Like, and there was, this certain kind of giggling in the class.
Yeah, that's what I was getting into. yeah.
When this topic come up, looking at each other's faces as if something, very funny has
happened. Yeah, it's very true. So because we are taught like in the later stage,
exactly.
Boys are very, I think during that time they get like rush of their puberty, and they're very, I would say, immature for now. But during that time they think like they're super cool and super stuff. And yes, it's your life, it's a stage that you go through. It's very normal. But like they really make fun. So whenever we used to have sex education class, boys are behind them like, oh, you know. And not just that, I'm like, oh, like this happens, and then they start.
Although they know everything, they would ask things, what is this, some random thing, and it would be so uncomfortable, even for the teacher sometime. But I think, there needs to be some decorum maintained. And I don't know how.
The best thing is like to teach beforehand.
Yeah, exactly.
Because during that time, if you teach like someone when they are 8 years in 8th grade or 9th or 10th grade, which I learned my health education,
they're already teenagers.
They're already teenagers. They probably have already gone through it, and there's no point right now skimming through it. You have to teach it, as you said, in 5th grade. I think it would be perfect time because in 6th grade, most of the females, they go through their periods. So if it's 6th grade, then it's a perfect 5th grade, perfect age to know what happens. Your cycle, not just your cycle, the hormonal phase a female go through, not just for females, how puberty hits males, how they feel natural attraction, how to deal with natural attraction. You have to lay out all the cards and say, like, okay, you have natural attraction when you're at a certain age, completely natural. You just need to either express that in a nice and gentle way, and you should have that in mind, that the girl might feel the same way or may not. Same thing goes for girls as well. And if you say that both of them feel same way, you can date. You can start dating, or you can talk. You can, hang out. Very natural. It's something that's very common. And if you feel like, no, this person does not like you and they reject you, it's okay. That is also very natural, very okay. It should not hamper your self-confidence. It should not hamper your self-worth. Completely fine, because you have a whole life ahead of you, and you always find someone who is much more nicer, much more better. At the end, you are going to be with someone whom you are meant to be with. So this is just a phase that you go through, and if that person is meant to be with you, then one day they will be.
It's okay. You can be even like, you may want to be single. That is also fine.
Your choice.
So as an individual, it's very important to be secure, feel secure about yourself. It should not be dependent on other person's approval. People might approve or not they might approve or not, but that should not
affect
you. That should not bring down your confidence. So make yourself really mentally strong, focus on your strengths, work on those skills that you need in life, rather than dealing with heartbreaks and rejections. It's natural. If it happens, just let it go.
So main thing is to move on and move past to things, because that's what life is all about. You get something and then you lose something and you just move on. But it's very natural. It's okay that you feel the way you feel, and these things should be addressed not when they're already a teenager, but at the verge of having the teenage years. Before you have a menstruation, these needs to be taught. This is how you use a pad. This is called a pad. This is a tampon. And there's also like a myth and stigma surrounding tampons. Like,
you shouldn't use it. It's like, it's something
it
like
breaks your virginity. And only a person who's not a virgin should use it. And that's what? That's very silly. So, but you have to, I think, teach people, because see, tampons are very, very comfortable.
Safe also.
They're very comfortable. They're very safe. Even I started using it after I came to Germany. I used to be sticking on pads, and I also tried cups. So, ladies who you want to know, if you want to know, there's also cups that you can use. But for me, cups have always been difficult.
Silicone cups.
Right? Yeah. So you just press them and you twist them and you use them, and then afterwards you just take them out slowly and you put them in a hot boiling water so that it gets disinfected, and you also have a disinfectant liquid that you can use. But you can use your cups, which is completely fine and natural, whatever you're comfortable with. But try to find something that is very easy and comfortable, because pads, yes, they are comfortable, I'm not gonna lie, but they sort of shift sometimes. And then when they're not in the right place, then happens the leakaging
also it
and
is
stuff.
about availability. Like in Europe, we easily get tampons, but in Nepal it's difficult. At least in rural areas,
it's difficult.
It's very difficult to get tampons, even pads, right? Sometimes. So also the cost is another thing. You should just decide what is best for you.
I feel like the government should either make a Nepalese pad and provide them freely. I think I remember a campaign where they were distributing pads. I I think it was back then, but I do remember that
But
they were distributing
there
pads
was
freely.
also I don't know what it is right now, but there was a time when they were putting taxes on pads,
Yeah.
and there was a huge outcry about
Yes.
right?
That's also because we bring a lot of pads from India.
But why to tax wherever they are already expensive, and
Mhm.
girls don't have access, and on top of that you are taxing them and making them more expensive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
either produce in your own country,
Yeah.
or let them be cheap at least.
Yeah, that's very true. And not just that, I think for like during my mom's age, they used to use cloth.
Yeah.
So that is also completely your choice, whatever feels natural and comfortable to you.
Yeah, I think cloth is also a sustainable thing, but at the same time you need to make it disinfected and make sure that it's hygienic,
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
So yeah.
But whatever flows your flow, whatever goes with you. But once you, if you have the facilities, you have to try out and see what works best for you.
Mhm.
Initially in Nepal, I think for me also it was always pad. I tried to use cup once, but it was very difficult, and it takes
Yeah.
time for you to get adjusted to cups.
Yeah, even to tampons.
Yeah, even to tampons, yes. But for me, tampon was so nice.
Mhm.
Now it feels so comfortable, and but also again at the same time you have to have something like layered over, because I do not know if how much I'm gonna bleed, and
Yeah.
I might have an overflow. But these things should be naturalized, and guys also they also need to be taught about all of these things.
Yeah, these things are minor things, but they can have larger impact, so it's important to address them in the right manner.
Yeah, and in the right age,
at the right time, so that they don't cause stigma later in your life, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and not just that, like to all the parents in Nepal who are listening, please ask your children if they are going through bullying in school, if they have been bullied, because I have personally heard from a lot of people nowadays. And that's not something that needs to be, brushed off, because this really affects your child throughout their life. It destroys their self-confidence. It really does, and not just self-confident, it makes you very self-aware. You want to cover yourself, you want to, it feels very bad. Okay, so please, if any of you are going through bullying, it's okay that you talk about it, and school needs to look into this and how to address these things properly. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I had a very good time. I hope our audience enjoys our chat.
Yeah, that's true. But if you have, and if you need anything, to all my sisters, know that I am the first place of contact that you need to make. Okay, so yes, and I think every family should have one person, or make sure that there's one person with whom their child can open up to.
Also, there are so many helping lines nowadays, so make use of that. There is technology. Reach out to people if you do not have right people around you. I'm sure there are so many organizations and people around that are ready to help. So I think this is also important, right? To know like where help is available.
I think, I don't know about Nepal, but there was a helpline for ragging and bullying in India. I don't know if that's there in Nepal, to be honest with you.
I think for children related issues, there is one number that they can dial. So I think, we should make use of these kind of platforms, right?
Thank you for informing that. I would have to look into it more.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Ciao.
Bye.